Welcome to the Business Spotlight. My name's James Burke, and today we've got another James with us from Intelligent Delivery Solutions. They're coming up to a 10-year-old business now, which in itself is a hell of an achievement. Only 4% of businesses make it to this big milestone, but the growth that James has had in this company over the last 10 years has been incredible, and he's got a great story to share with you. Now, I don't want to share too much of this story because that's what James is here to do. James, welcome to the Business Spotlight.
Thanks for having me, James. Good to meet you.
Yeah, likewise. So I'm looking forward to this. Tell us a little bit about the history of your company then, and two things that I'm really interested in is how you started the business and probably why you started the business as well. So let's take a trip down memory lane 10 years ago. Over to you.
Yeah, sure. I'll give you a little bit of a soup to nuts. It's not a Goonies moment, this, where I started as a 3-year-old child, but it's something similar. So yeah, I mean, I've been in the software quality assurance consultancy arena for 25 years, and I've worked for a number of different consultancies along the way. As a permanent member of staff, I've worked as an associate contractor. I've been involved with some quite high profile projects and programs with blue chip banks, Microsoft, etc. So I've had a varied experience, and I've been very, very lucky to work with some amazing people along the way. So I learned a lot from those amazing people, as you'd imagine. And then I got to a point, in my career where I was like mulling around. I was a contractor, only getting paid when I turned up to deliver. If I was on holiday, I wasn't getting paid and all that sort of stuff. So I knew that, I wanted to change that for consistency, for my family's benefit, so I wasn't kind of worrying when I was on holiday that I wasn't earning any money and things like that. So there was a little bit of a driver on that side, but the biggest driver was I knew that I had more to give, more to offer than me just working on project by project. And I'd seen how some things were done right with different consultancies and how some things were done wrong. And I thought, well, I want to put my money where my mouth is and start my own, and let's see what I can do. And so I did. I basically reached out to a couple of people who were new in the industry, and said, do you fancy having a go with this? And a few people were like semi-interested, and then others were flat out no's. One of the guys who was flat out no, he basically introduced me to my business partner Alistair, who we kind of knew each other, from afar, because he was in recruitment. I was in recruitment for software quality assurance, and I was obviously on the delivery side. So I think we kind of knew each other's name off the back of that. And we said, well, we had a phone call. We said, I think there's something here. Let's have a meet up. So we met up in a pub over near Skipton, I think it was. And we just kind of laid out our plans, goals, ambitions, and that sort of things. And they aligned quite well.
Oh, wow.
Literally within 45 minutes of me leaving the pub and driving home, Alice and I had another phone call, and we said, look, let's just cut to the chase. Let's just get it done. Let's set up a limited company and just do it. We'll worry about the detail later. And so that's what we did. And we set up limited company that next day, had the bank account, everything all sorted, within a couple of days of that. And he's like, well, right, okay, let's go and find some business. And that's pretty much how it started. And I think that the theme within that is, I think that kind of quick decision making is key throughout the whole journey that I've been on, over the past 9 to 10 years of business. It's about being able to get the facts down in front of you and make key decisions quickly, whether it's for or against something. You know your mind, you know what's right, and you are able to make that decision, quite firmly and move on, with that decision, knowing that that's the right decision at that point in time. So yeah, I mean, that's how we started. A little bit of the why is in there as well. So yeah.
Really interesting. So actually, there's a smaller percentage than most people anticipate of business owners that sit there and go, I'm either self-employed or employed. I've got the regular income coming. I'm going to go for this. I'm going to go for it on my own. What we tend to find is a lot of people start their businesses because they've been made redundant, because
Yeah.
they were gifted a big contract that got them started, or whatever else it might be. It's very few that make that big brave leap and
Hmm.
go for it. And yeah, that little conversation sat in a pub
Yeah.
sparked something special. How cool is that?
Yeah,
What
definitely.
after
And
that?
it's the buzz associated to things like that as well. I think that helps drive you on. You know, your blood starts pumping, your adrenaline kicks in. It's like, right, yeah, we're in it. Let's do it.
Well, I'll tell you what I took from that, James, is I think the moral of the story there for me is just go for it. When you've got that thing that you want to do, just
Yeah,
make a decision and go for it.
yeah,
Don't procrastinate. Just move.
absolutely. I mean, that's what, literally kills a lot of dreams, isn't it? You know, when you sit on it too long and then overthink it,
Yeah,
you know,
definitely.
it's
Yeah. I mean, if you
that's
had
never
that
gonna.
conversation another month, that might not have happened because the law of diminishing intent could have.
Well, exactly. You know, a lot of people and I've done it myself. You know, I get something in my head and I think, yeah, I feel good about this, and I'm gonna go and do it. And then if I don't do it straight away, next time I come round to it, it's like the intent's not the same. And then I start going, well, it might not work that, and you start inventing risks and problems, and that might never happen.
Mm.
It's like Michael Jordan says, why worry about a shot I've never taken? It's just do it. And again, another Michael Jordan,
Yeah,
like,
I love that
just do
quote.
it.
Brilliant. So tell us about the growth of the business. So you and Alistair started out. I'm guessing you just went hunting to your local networks and people that you know to get the first bit of work
Yeah,
in. How did you go
yeah.
from there to where you are today?
So as I say, we were very quick to make the decision. We were probably very, very quick as well to land our first opportunity. It was through a friend of mine, that we'd done some work with as a contractor, and he was at a law firm, and it was just like an off chance. I phoned him up and said, this is what I'm doing now. There's anything that you need, let me know. Um, and he phoned me back a couple of days later and said, actually, I could do with some help. But he's asked for me to go in personally. So they started there, and within probably three months, I think it was, we were 12 permanent staff working on in that account plus another account.
Wow.
So we finished our first financial year. I think it was around 1.2 million turnover in revenue, which completely blew away our goal. We aimed to hit £250,000 in our first year. That was our goal, and we were just shy of a million
Wow.
short, just shy of a million over that. Sorry.
Yeah.
And we again, it's that theme about recognizing what you need to do, making the decision, and actually going at it with some conviction. We continue to kick on year, and we grew year on year, for the first probably 3 or 4 years. I think the peak of that period was around about £3.5 million revenue, with the first, I think the third or fourth year. I can't remember exactly what it was. And then we started to look at what we were doing, refining what we were doing, improving what we were doing. And we then started to recognize areas where we had gaps, and we've created some tools. So we brought in a small development team, and we started bringing those tools into our arsenal as a bit of a differentiator, to help with things that we weren't so great at. There was probably some things that were very manual, but the rest of the delivery was very automated and streamlined.
Yeah.
So we created tools to fix the problems that we had internally, and then we've kind of kicked on from there. So we've got a product now, and we're looking to expand that, into offering as a differentiator, working with partners, system integrators, you name it. We do quite a lot of different things. But it's about having for me, from my experience, I'm not saying this is for everybody. It's understanding, what's not working, what is working, how you can fix it. It's continually improving as you go. Knowing that we started out as a pure breed software testing consultancy, and then today we've evolved, through the creation of products, into a more of a data orientated business. So we now, not just test stuff, we're actually providing the capability of lifting and shifting data, moving people from legacy systems to brand new ERP, PMS, CMS systems. And we're working in, lots of quite large organizations as a result of that. And again, it's knowing your knitting. It's basically, we don't try to be something we're not. We recognize that we're very cold face as an organization. We do the unsexy stuff, and we're okay with that, because that's what works. We don't try and profess ourselves as data analysts or data modelers. That's not what we do. We prepare the data, we lift the data, and we land the data so that those kind of, more kind of fancy, sexy business parts of the business can flourish. And again, we're fine with that. We don't need the press.
Nice. And how many people are in the team now?
I think so. The reason I'm kind of stalling a little bit is we've had quite a growth spurt recently. So I think we're around about 55 permanent staff at the moment, and we're probably going to be bringing in another between 15 and 20 in the next 2 or 3 months. We're aiming to get our consultancy base up to around about 85 people strong, which I think our financial year ends in March 24. I think there's a good chance that we could be nearing that by then. So that comes down to the growth. We've changed strategy slightly since last year. In January this year, we implemented a more tactical route to market because, as I said before, you make this, referring back to the decisions, you don't always get them right, and we've made a decision in 2021 to be more focused on product, and as opposed to consultancy services, which is who we are. And it didn't really work. So it's okay to be wrong, but it's understanding, recognizing that you're failing in those decisions. And we've put some corrective measures in place this year, and as a result of that, we're probably around about 200 to 300% growth as a result of those changes, based on the year before's financial outputs as well. So it's good to be wrong.
There's two big things there that are just jumping out for me, James. Which, number one is that there are 55 families, 55 mortgages, or 55 landlords, all being paid just because you and Alistair made a decision 10 years ago in a pub. I think that is really powerful. And secondly,
it's quite scary as well.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, what a difference a decision can make, right?
Yeah, definitely.
We interviewed Stephen Bartlett at an event of ours in April, and he talked about a reverse decision. And a reverse decision, he said, is if it's a decision that you can make and reverse later if you get it wrong, you may as well make it. If it's a decision you make and you can't reverse it if you make that decision, give it some more consideration. That doesn't mean don't make it; it just means give it some consideration. But if it's a decision you can reverse, like you've just mentioned there with the switch from consultancy to products and back, it's worth doing just because you're going to learn from the experience anyway, right?
Yeah, definitely. It was, as I say, it wasn't catastrophic. It just gave us a bit of a hangover more than anything. But it was a case we got to a point, so probably about this time last year, where we said, this ain't working. We were still delivering services, but the services were kind of dwindling a little bit. We were expecting a product to plug that gap, sales, but it just didn't quite happen that way. So we went, there's only one way this is heading. So let's change it now whilst we can. So that's what we did.
And what would you say is, looking forward now at these new growth opportunities you've got, you're bringing in more staff, what would you say is the big challenge for you moving forward?
So with any kind of growth, your cash flow is always going to be pinched, because you're paying today on based on yesterday's money.
Yeah.
So it's always that's a critical kind of area that we've got to consider, and we are considering. We're navigating it okay at the moment, which is good. Um, the biggest challenge for me is how you continue on that kind of growth, because it's easy to rest on your laurels and
Hmm.
go, this is awesome, let's just ride it out. But as it doesn't continue, unless you put in the same passion and drive behind it. So it's about having that kind of future view and going, right, well, what do we want? What do we want next? Because organic growth as it stands now with our trajectory, we're probably, not this financial year, but the following financial year, 2025, that ends in 2025. We've probably got a good trajectory that will get us near the £10 million rev, which is exciting alone. But we want to do more than that. So it's the challenge is around having the, I guess, for want of a better word, having the balls to actually do something bigger and aim for something bigger, aim for something that scares the life out of you. And that's what I try to do on a regular basis. And we could sit and say, well, £10 million rev's awesome, and let's just ride it out. But I want to build something incredible, and that's the next part of the journey, if you want, where we're going to go to market and potentially look for further investment that will help us do a buy and build strategy, so we can go out and acquire complementary service product orientated businesses that will fit within our group and be strategic acquisitions, so that we can take that 8, 9, 10 million and turn it into 15, 16, 17, 20, 25 million, with the right kind of acquisitions and partnerships and mergers and likes, and really build something that's different, an IT services product kind of capability that focuses on implementing quality right the way through the process, from start to finish, to lifting, shifting data, to software, to then even looking at how that can benefit organizations after that's happened, remote process automation, virtual assistants, those kind of implementation consultancy kind of offerings as well. So those are kind of high level future views of where I see this company going, and that's what makes my heart beat. It's that we don't know how to do it yet, we don't know what it's going to look like, but why not? Let's just do it. Let's just go for it.
For sure, yeah. Brilliant. So let's go. Last question. If someone's watching this and there's one piece of advice, one piece of business advice that you could pass on, and there was only one, we've got so much from you there, James, but if there was only one piece of advice that you could pass on to our audience watching this, what would the piece of advice be?
Oh, that's a tough question. I'd go with the theme of what I've kind of talked about throughout, and make decisions quick. Get the facts in front of you and make decisions quick. Avoid procrastinating. Avoid sleeping on it. I'll decide tomorrow. I'll ask my wife. I'll ask my girlfriend. If it feels right, do it.
Yeah.
But there's nothing wrong with just backing yourself. Nothing wrong with it. Business is hard. And it is tough. But so long as you've got that conviction in your decisions, you move past anything.
Back yourself.
Yeah.
Back yourself. I love that. Brilliant. And Jay, if there's people watching this and maybe they are transferring from HubSpot to Salesforce and they've got an organization, they need some help, or they just want to hear more of your story, where can they go to find out more about you?
Well, they can find me on LinkedIn, James Briers. Just search. Our website is intelligent-ds.com. You can go on there. I think I've got a profile on there as well. Drop me an email, whichever. LinkedIn is probably the easiest as well.
Great. Brilliant.
Just send me a message.
Brilliant. James, thank you so much for taking the time to share your learnings about running a business with our viewers.
No worries. Appreciate it, James. Thanks for having me.
Thank you.